Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's dive into some of the stocks that we're watching this morning. We have Joe Easton from our equities team. Joe, what are you watching this morning?
Yeah, so this headline news kind of wiping out any single stock moves we had planned for the day. So we're seeing broad moves across anything really exposed to the trade war. If we take a look at AP Moller-Maersk over in shipping, we're up 12%. That stock actually on track for its biggest one-day gain in a decade, lifting that stock this morning. Then we're seeing the miners rallying, Anglo-American, Anto, Glencore, luxury as well, LVMH carrying, we're seeing gains around 5 to 6%, and also over in the chip space. So pretty much anything exposed to the trade war worries absolutely soaring today, really keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, on the flip side though, we're also seeing some declines, the main group declining, healthcare stocks.
Yeah, so this was the negative news that we were looking out for. So we did see a report over the weekend saying Trump looking to rein in prices, something we've discussed before, where he does think that pricing for drugs is too high in the US compared to other countries. So the news over the weekend is that the US will look to do a best price policy where they try and lower the price of a drug in the US to the best price available abroad in another country. So big moves across that sector today. Novo Nordisk dropping around 6% currently. AstraZeneca, GSK, Sanofi, all of those shares sliding, really in contrast with the broader market, which has got a very happy mood on today. But healthcare really a notable outperformer as Trump looks to rein in those drug prices.
Well, Joe, lest we allow Donald Trump to steal the show, should we talk about European banks? We've had Unicredit reporting this morning and some news from Spanish banking over the weekend.
Yeah, so giving us kind of a little bit of other news to take on board is over in the M&A kind of space in banking, as you say. So Unicredit, first of all, beating expectations pretty much across the board on the net interest income and also better than expected payouts in terms of dividends as well. Now, Unicredit has been on the prowl trying to buy up pretty much any bank it comes across, taking aim most notably, of course, with Commerzbank, and also doing bit of deal making over in their home market as well. So that one was a little bit higher at the open of trading in Milan. Then also the Spanish banking situation is continuing to develop. Spain saying that it would be in favour of potentially Sabadell doing another deal, so a different deal to the proposed takeover by BBVA. So that one was boosting that stock today. But really the main driver continues to be these trade moves. So we're seeing the banking stocks pretty much rising across the board on better than expected trading outlooks, so pretty much wiping out any positivity from the M&A situations.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that the Euro Stock 600 is up this morning overall by 0.5%. Already we knew that the European stock market had recouped about 3/4 of the losses that we saw from March's record high, and yet this is to do with US-China trade negotiations rather than directly with European companies. I mean, looking at US stock futures, they are seeing much bigger gains. NASDAQ stock futures now up by 3.4%. And yet we think that this is going to help to underpin earnings for European companies. Obviously, the exposure to China, the knock-on effect from China, or indeed the drop in global trade, would be the main worries. Why are we seeing the big gain in European equities?
Well, I think if we dig down into some of the other sectors that aren't just exposed to the US and China situation, so some of the companies that have operations over in Thailand and some of the other Asian countries as well, so some of the clothes makers, Puma, for example, Pandora, stocks like that, they seem to be getting a boost on potentially this kind of latest move, indicating that this whole situation will get better on a global scale, not just between the US and China. So that is, it does seem to be more anything exposed to trade worries rising at the moment, but obviously the bigger moves coming in the US as well. The other sector on the downside is defence today has really hit hard. So I think this is kind of potentially to do with some of the geopolitical updates we saw over the weekend, potentially on a better situation in Ukraine. So that taking the shine out of it. But the US moves will be interesting to watch later as well.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.